Yes, hello. Yes, karibuni na nawakaribisha sana for our show today. Uh, May 6, 2025. Miaka inaenda sana. 25 years after the millennium. I remember the millennium was just the other day. Sijui ni wangapi wanaweza kumbuka mwaka wa 2000. 2000, dunk into the new millennium. I remember all the calendars. Ni vile nimepiga sama, hey, 25 years after the millennium. Wow, miaka inasonga. 25 years is a quarter of a century. Very few human beings will be able to witness four of a quarter of a century. Very few human beings, if there are any, ni outlier. Ni mtu moja kwa 10 will reach 100 years, na vile tunaenda maybe pengine miaka itaenda ikipungua with the time. Yes, karibuni. Wow. Mudhoni Mso, hello Mr. Jiro, Gradwell, vipi Njiro? Okay. Yes, nashukuru. Frankly speaking, there is a lot which we can share here. Guys Corner, tumepatana kwa Brother Benson. You instructed me to come and open, and I had to do it. Yes. Anyway, I had already set up a program, so tuendelee. So pia nataka kuwahimiza or to encourage you, kama hujaweza, yes, how are you Green, karibuni. Kama hujaweza pia kutupigia subscribe, nitaomba kwa heshima na taadhima tupigie hiyo subscribe. So leo ni mambo mingi sana naweza taka to discuss. Most of the issues ni aftermath ya siasa za weekend. What is happening? Kuna kitu kinaendelea. We saw the Wamunyoro gymnastics. Can we say that Wamunyoro meeting is having some ripple effects moving forward? Then mkereketo wetu Bwana Ruto aligongwa na kiatu. Yes. So mkereketo wetu aligongwa na kiatu. So we need to examine that. Has it affected him in any way? Ama ni wale watu ambao hakuna kitu ambayo inawatishia. So I'm also hearing they are almost concluding the commissioners who are IBC. So, and I'm hearing the possible two names ni Nyachae and Hamadi. Hey, our brothers from Kisii this time round, mnataka kila kitu, mtapewa kila kitu. Anyway, I hope we will get serious people. Yeah. Lakini we don't need to fear too much as long as tuko na wengi. So we should not fear that IBC itakuja ituibie kura. No, as long as tuko wengi na tuko na watu wengi. So that one should not be something which we are fearing. Yeah. So karibuni. Ni natarajia mumebarikiwa and you are ready for today's discussion. Na wale watataka kukuja kuingia kituo kama kawaida nitawekea subscription, nitawekea link hapo muweze kuingia. Yes, FM Mwangi naona unaingia. Stop talking about my ndevu. Ziko hapo tu. Mr. Ndefu. Hi. So I like them. Yeah. Some of us we believe we are smart tukiwa na ndevu. So we will not define smartness according to somebody. We will define smartness according to what we know. Saa zingine ati toa nywele ukae smart. Who told you that if you have hair you are not smart? It's not true. It's a lie. I think as long as you are able to maintain it, yeah, version hilo inakufurahisha. So msituwekee pressure sana all the time ukituambia enda kinyozi unyolewe. Hapana, hata sisi wananywele we are smart. Anyway, karibuni na shukuru mwingia. So kiatu ya kutembea mpaka Sugoi ni safari. Hey, Eve Mwangi unasalimiwa. So for sure the dialogue is flowing in Kenya, and I've listened some political thinkers who are trying to claim that Gachagua is building a political machinery which could actually be the centerpiece of injecting Mr. Ruto out of power. One thing which we don't seem to have agreed, and I was actually saying that kwa channel ya Brother Benson, is that hii maneno ya kutaka mtu ana madoadoa inaweza kuwa ngumu kidogo. We don't have an angel who can get power. It's just the normal human beings wale ambao tuko na wao. Ni hawa watu ambao mnaona wakitokezea. So out of the big group, Kalonzo Musyoka, Matiang'i, Wamalwa, Natembeya, nitajia wao, Gachagua. So that is a clique which will maybe hata huyu Okia wa Mtata, that is a clique which will be getting power. Yeah, Okia Mtata, even despite going to the court, he has now gotten to power and he is serving as a senator. So we also need to be keen about that. So out of all that group, I don't see a very serious transformative people we can say that ni weupe kama pamba. So for now, we have to agree because politics and democracy is a journey. We need somebody to come and at least aturudishe back kwa barabara. Maybe our children will come and do, even the Gen Zs, in their time, they will come and push for the changes which they might want. But for now, tunataka tu at least mtu ambaye atasaidia nchi iweze kuenda na mbele. We might not be able to get a very creative human being, but we have to agree that where Ruto has taken us is a very bad point, and at least we need a stabilization agent, a person who will come and restore the status quo. That is why I don't want us to have a lot of hope, extreme hope we can have, because ukirudishwa pia ile pale ulikuwa unajua hata ile wakati umepotea barabara na uonesho barabara mzuri na uone, you feel hope. But I don't want us to be explicitly think that we are going to get the best of the best people to come and govern our society. We are no longer there, because the problem which we have is that we still have a lot of vices which are very bad or which are guiding our people. Kenyan citizens are also practicing corruption. Kenyan citizens some of them are practicing uganga. Kenyan citizens are thieves. Hao ndio wanaenda kuunda makampuni za kuiba. Kenyan citizens are doing much of the things which are not also very good. So that is why we, even as we expect to have a very good rulership or a very good group to take to power, we have to agree that we are fallen short of God's glory, and we are on the path of making a good leader. But at least we need somebody who is an alternate of Ruto, somebody who will not come to explicitly steal from us. So at least we need somebody with some form of character, in a way. So anyway, karibuni. So that's what I needed to explain, because musiweke hope kubwa sana. Yes, we will be able to get a leader, but we need a leader who is trustworthy, and a leader who can be able to make us return back to work. There are so many things which are not working and doing the right thing. So, and we have to be clear and categoric about that. So najaribu kuangalilia nione kama what is trending in our news. But even as we look for what is trending, wow. Naona Ngojiri Wambogo is being interviewed now. So I'm still hearing Ruto is still in President Ruto during the launch of 183 unit, just 183 in Timaru affordable housing project in Migori. So he is still in Migori. Ni kama hataki kutoka Migori saa hii. Ni sawa. I'm trying to look at what is good and workable for us. Yeah, so nasikia IBC ni kama ripoti ishapeanwa kwa Ruto. Yeah, ripoti imepeanwa kwa Ruto. Ripoti imepeanwa kwa Ruto. Naona pia Cosmo Choi amereact to Amonyoro. I don't think he can be able. Yes. Anyway, let's hear this. Then
this week we're hosting a free trading and investing workshop right here in Minneapolis. Inside this mtazamaji, kipindi kimepulizwa na tumeanza masuala ya ukumbi wa siasa. Jina langu Elizabeth Mutiku, na hii leo nitakuwa nikiangazia zaidi kuhusiana na swali kuu ambalo lipo katika akili ya Wakenya. Je, Daktari Fred Matiang'i ni dawa? Ni baadhi ya yale tutakuwa tukiangazia, na studioni yupo Daktari Barak Muluka. Karibu sana studioni.
Asante sana.
Lakini nitaanza kwa taarifa hii kuwa lengo la Umugusi limechukua mwelekeo mpya kwa kisiasa. Kulingana na wadadisi wa siasa, uwepo wa wanasiasa wa ODM katika makaribisho ya Matiang'i katika kaunti za Nyamira na Kisii ni ishara kuwa eneo hilo linatafuta kiongozi na mwokozi baada ya kusalitiwa na Odinga ambaye na pia amejiunga na Rais William Ruto. Na mwanahabari wetu wa masuala ya siasa Apollo Kamau anatueleza ni kwa nini Matiang'i kuingia katika masuala ya siasa ni dawa au sio dawa.
Urejeo wa aliyekuwa waziri wa usalama Fred Matiang'i siku ya Ijumaa wiki iliyopita katika kaunti za Kisii na Nyamira huenda ukawa pigo la kisiasa kwa kiongozi wa chama cha ODM Raila Odinga na Rais William Ruto, kwani wadadisi wa siasa wanasema mapokezi ya Matiang'i iliashiria kiu ya jamii ya Omugusi kumpata kiongozi baada ya kusalitiwa na Odinga aliyeungana na Rais Ruto katika serikali pana.
Raila does not have the influence he used to have. It's gone. In part because he's perceived to have betrayed the cause. It does not matter how much he tries to explain. The image is that you betrayed the cause, and therefore your influence is irrelevant.
Katika makaribisho ya Matiang'i yaliyosisimua kaunti za Kisii na Nyamira, viongozi na wabunge wa chama cha ODM na UDA wakiongozwa na gavana wa Kisii Simba Arati walimuidhinisha Matiang'i kuwa mgombeaji urais wao mwaka 2027.
Sababu yetu kuja hapa, tungependa kuonyesha Wakenya kuwa tuko tayari kuwania uongozi wa nchi hii, na yule ambaye tumemchagua ni kijana yetu anaitwa Fred Matiang'i. Tumetoa ndugu wetu Okenyo Fred akutane na kila mmoja ambaye anagombea kiti, na sisi hatutatusi mtu yoyote.
Akitangaza azma yake ya kuwania urais, Matiang'i alisema yuko tayari kurekebisha Kenya, msemo ambao wadadisi wanasema una uzito, kwani ubabe wa Ruto na Matiang'i ulianza wakati wa utawala wa rais mstaafu Uhuru Kenyatta, wakati ambapo Matiang'i kama waziri alikuwa na mamlaka zaidi kuliko Rais William Ruto aliyekuwa naibu rais.
It also implies that President Ruto is very vulnerable. And so you have people are jostling for positions who is likely to replace Ruto. That's what we are seeing all these things. And say, oh yeah, he's going. So who will take over? And now that's where the crux of the matter is.
Je, Matiang'i atazamisha merikebi ya Ruto ya mwaka 2027? Mdadisi wa kisiasa Macharia Munene anasema Matiang'i ana mitego katika ziara yake ya mwaka 2027, mojawapo ikiwa ni kashfa ya shamba la Ruaraka na mauaji ya Mtoyala.
That one he has not been able to explain himself to the satisfaction of many people. It's likely to come up more. And if there were other incidents like that one, they will be brought out in order to derail him. He should appear as if he's making headway.
Katika upande wa upinzani, Matiang'i lazima aongee na vigogo wa upinzani akiwemo Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, George Natembeya na wengineo. Mtihani mkuu kwa umoja wa upinzani. Abdul Kamal, TV47.
This is what Ivy League universities you can get.
Yeah, I think hiyo story ya Matiang'i kuongea na upinzani hapo nafikiria sio rahisi. Sio ngumu, I mean. Sababu that one would be a matter of necessity. But hiyo itakuwa sawa. Watashikana. So we don't need to get worried of nani atashikana na nani. Opposition will have to work together ama wazame. So we don't even need to talk about the unity for opposition. Unity for opposition is a must. Otherwise ni kuangamia wanaangamia. Without a unified unity, hata tusiende kwa debe. So there's no way in which we can split out. There's no way in which we can split out. I don't know, is this project true ama ni kutuambia? Nataka tu muniambie hii. Nairobi to Mombasa ni kama wanataka kujenga hiyo barabara. So let me give you, and then maybe you can react to it. Ndio hii, it is in K24.
Pay for an airplane or a train 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours as opposed to 10 hours.
This is after Everstrong Capital, an American private equity company based in Nairobi, submitted Kenya's feasibility study to Kenya National Highways Authority (KENHA), affirming the usahihi Nairobi to Mombasa Expressway readiness for investment and execution.
The concession period is 30 years, and yes, it includes the 3 to 4 years that it will take to construct the road. Parts of this road will be done even as early as 2 years. Parts will be done in 3, the maximum will be 4.
Investors such as JP Morgan and Standard Bank are organizing approximately $3.5 billion in equity and debt for Usahihi Expressway Limited.
Insurance companies are sitting with more than $1 trillion patient capital. These are contracted funds for insurance, health, and so forth, also as well as the pension funds which are actually invested through what we call guaranteed funds.
To allow Kenyans to actually participate in the project to the extent of the financial return through the support and guidance and leadership of CDF Capital Advisory is a genius masterstroke.
And And once the expressway opens, motorists will pay approximately 13 shillings per kilometer, a small price for speed, safety, and efficiency.
The tolls will be collected in shillings. We will have direct accounts with logistics companies that will be able to pay in dollars.
With the feasibility study now in the hands of Kenha and Treasury's decision looming, all eyes are on what could be one of Kenya's most ambitious infrastructure undertakings in recent memory.
This project will be the prototype for how infrastructure is built in Africa.
Linda Koskei, K24 TV.
Okay, wanaita usahihi. So maybe I want to bring some things into perspective there. It will be a toll road. A toll road means that the financing is not coming from the government, but the financing is coming from an equity somewhere where they are going to recoup their money through charging you. But nimepata wasiwasi kidogo hapo. They are saying that you will be paying 13 shillings per kilometer to use the road. I don't know if somebody heard that. That is okay. Let's redo that.
Support
Equity and debt.
be done in 3. The maximum will be
Hapo kidogo.
Investors such as JP Morgan and Standard Bank are organizing approximately $3.5 billion in equity and debt for Usahihi Expressway Limited.
insurance companies are sitting with more than $1 trillion patient capital. These are contracted funds for insurance.
Nataka tusikie tu
So for
hapo pa 13 shillings.
pension funds which are actually invested through what we call guaranteed funds. To allow Kenyans to actually participate in the project to the extent of the financial return through the support and guidance and leadership of CPF Capital Advisory is a genius masterstroke.
And once the expressway opens, motorists will pay approximately 13 shillings per kilometer, a small price for speed, safety, and efficiency.
The tolls will be collected in shillings. We will have direct accounts with logistics companies that will be able to pay in dollars.
With the feasibility study now in the hands of Kenha and Treasury's decision looming, all
hiyo project inafaa ipingwe kutoka saa hii. That's a nani guys kona. Sijui kama kuna mtu amesikia hapo 13 shillings per kilometer. 13, that's too much. So meaning that watakuwa na toll stations kama 50 along the way. So unaenda ukilipa along the way. Huh? Nani anafanya mahesabu? Mumesikia kitu kama hiyo 13 shillings per kilometer. Nairobi to Mombasa, that's what they're saying. I don't know why, and there were technocrats in that meeting, why they did not talk about that 13 shillings. There's no any Kenyan who can afford 13 shillings per kilometer as a toll value for that road. Mwamba, wacha nikuwekee kidogo hapo. Unajua, I don't want to I don't want to.
And once the expressway opens, motorists will pay approximately 13 shillings per kilometer, a small price for speed, safety, and efficiency.
The tolls will be collected in shillings. We will have direct accounts with logistics companies that will be able to pay in dollars.
With the feasibility study now in the hands of Kenha and Treasury
You see,
decision loom.
Let me tell you, this is the stupidity of tumbocrats na watu tu kuenda tu kuketi tu hapo tu kwa mkutano, and you don't want even to question that feasibility study. I have now personally, by just listening to that, I have rubbished that feasibility study. I have rubbished it. I don't need like so we cannot allow that road to be constructed in Kenya. That value is not is not based on Kenyan economy, because from Nairobi to Mombasa, how many kilometers? Nairobi to Mombasa, is it 300, 400? How many? So let's give an average of 350 kilometers. So 350 kilometers times 13. So we are talking of like 4,000. Uende Mombasa 4,000 na urudi na 4,000. Na hiyo gari hujaweka fuel. And na kuna watu wako hapo wanasikiliza story kama. That's why you see, I don't understand like a Kenyan can be in such a meeting and somebody is not asking the question when you are hearing at all unasema at a small fee. Who said that initiating is a small fee per kilometer? Tuseme hata kama ni Mombasa road, hata kama tu ni only 50, especially because kuna watu wanatokanga Mombasa road, kuna watu wanatoka Athi River. Kutoka Athi River mpaka town Nairobi, that's like around 50 kilometers hapo. Meaning that kama unatokanga Athi River na huko, ama pale ingine inaitwa Chumvi. I don't know how many stay in Chumvi. Chumvi na huko mbele karibu naenda pale Machakos turnoff, Machakos junction. Let's say unatoka, because kuna watu wanakaa as far as there and they are working in Nairobi. Kuna watu wanakaa by the way 100 kilometers and they come to work in Nairobi. So let me assume you use Mombasa road and every day you need to cover 100 kilometers. So you are expected to pay a tariff or a toll fee of 13 bob per kilometer. So that means ulipe 1,300 kwenda na 1,300 kurudi. Where did we take our brains? Where did we take our brains? Wacha niwaoneshe hiyo mkutano, wale watu wako hapo tu na wanasikiliza. This is not even engineering. Let me see.
Organizing approximately 3.5 billion US dollars in equity and debt for Usahihi Expressway Limited.
Hao watu wote wanasikiliza hao kama huyo. Nataka tu muone crowd.
These are contracted funds for insurance, health, so forth.
Huyu anaongea nini?
Pension funds which are actually invested.
I'm trying to, nilikuwa nataka tu kutoa, I wanted to show you the people seated, Oh.
Morgan.
Ona. Kulikuwa na watu wameketi. All those people did not understand that 13 shillings. Hao watu wote hawakuelewa 13 shillings. Now we are on that is why Ruto cannot implement that project. Na tukisema sasa Ruto implement because 13 shillings per kilometer. 13 shillings per kilometer. Who will use that road? So mnataka kusema tu tutajenga tu barabara na uwezi enda Mombasa. Will we have another? You see like, do you know that kuna watu by that watumiangi expressway? Kuna watu watumiangi expressway, inabidi utumie. So ile ya airport. Bana. Tuache kuangusha Kenya ni engineering hivyo bana. It's so easy to do that road. The only problem, the only thing we need on that road ni maybe pengine my interchanges. The only expertise we need in my interchange. Bridges, where we need like long bridges. Lakini kifika tu ni story ya elevated highways, story ya kufunga mchanga, all that expertise we have. No. $13 bob per kilometer. na when we are saying Ruto must go, kuna mtu anafikiria like we are crazy. So unajua Ruto doesn't care because hiyo burden atakuja atuachie. So in other words they are saying hakuna story ya kwenda Mombasa. SGR haiwezi tosha kila mtu. So are we now trying to say that Kenyans will not be using roads? That hiyo barabara ikae tu. Please, this information needs to get out. We cannot do a road which you are paying, and I'm so surprised that many Kenyans have not been able to capture that 13 shillings per kilometer. Let me tell you, the maximum toll fee should be a proportion of the fuel you are using. The toll should not be a maximum of 20% of the fuel you are using on that journey. The toll fee can always, fuel has to be a lot. Now remember, because unajua in the fuel, that's why we embed even maintenance fee hapo ya mabarabara. There's no way, but hii barabara unless iko na corruption, unless kuna pesa inapotea 13 no way. It's extremely expensive. Let me tell you the reason why it is expensive. Nataka niwapigie hesabu per day. Who can tell me the number of vehicles which move from, nitawapigie, in fact I will do an expose for this. Let's estimate the number of cars which move from Nairobi to Mombasa every day. How many cars move from, ni magari ngapi? Ni gari ngapi zinatoka Nairobi to Mombasa every day and back? Wacha niwaangalilie hapa, si ati nini weekend, sinaitwa tu traffic volume. Hata ChatGPT atakwambia number of cars that drive from Nairobi to Mombasa. Tatu niwaangalie to Mombasa daily. Anyway, I did some traffic daily. Naangalilia tu. I've just been scanned. Number of cars that drive from Nairobi to Mombasa daily. Number of cars. Traffic volume, we call it. It's around 300 miles. Hata wanaita light nini, Google inaita light traffic. Hata washaleta hapa. Hata kumbe hata isha update hata na kina KTN. Hebu niwasomee hii excerpt hapa. Wow. Na mbona hii mambo ndio hii. Nairobi Mombasa Express Highway could cost same as freight for 4.5 hour trip. So at could cost, what wameandika hapa, wameandika the project, which is spearheaded by US owned infrastructure firm Everstrong Capital, is on the brink of becoming a reality after a full feasibility study. Ni kupeana option. Feasibility study, that means bado hajafanya design. Unajua kwa project unakuanga na feasibility, ni kusema tunaweza fanya ama tuwezi fanya. Then from there you go next, you do something we call detailed design. So detailed design ni pale madaraja zinachorwa, nini, mitaro, drainages, kila kitu, corridor. Unajua when you are designing a road haitangwi road. Wakati barabara inachorwa inaitangwa corridor. Sijui kama mko na hiyo story. The report suggests that motorists will have to pay between 12 bob and 13 per kilometer express. Taking this into account, that full journey approximately 459 kilometers, translating to 5,280 in toll fees. Yes. So the fuel, the figure is not too. Is this guy crazy? The figure is not too hefty, especially considering the fact that the travel time will likely be slashed by more than half. Okay, it's our travel time may slash by half, because it is true you have made a big corridor. I don't deny. But when you are looking at factors which contribute to development, affordability and convenience. Affordability usually now ranks higher. You have to rank factors. So then because as somebody in this thing. So when it comes to convenience, human beings between affording and convenience, we go to affording. That is why unaonanga mtu saa zingine anapitia kwa kichorochoro, because So you have to rank the factors. You need to rank them. So I don't know why this report is not ranking the factors which affect something. You rank them. This is the biggest factor, because if you don't rank those factors, you can do something and it becomes a white elephant, or something which is not in use, ghost. Or we just kill tourism. Watu wasema hakuna kwenda Mombasa, watu waanze sasa kufikiria maneno mengine. It is impossible. I don't think there is any road in Africa or even in the world which so based on April fuel review by EFRA, super petrol is retailing at 174 per liter. So anasema petrol ina retail at 174 per liter. But kuna kitu watuambii, how many kilometers does a liter take you? This translates to 29 to 33 liters of fuel for a standard vehicle traveling for 59. So anasema, so around 30. So anasema you need 30 liters for that journey. So anasema sasa fuel unatumia ngiri 5. So inamaanisha ile pesa unatumia kununua mafuta, so ununue mafuta ya 5,000 na ulipe 5,000 ingine ya toll fee. So all the costs considering the total expense for a one-way trip from Nairobi to Mombasa via the expressway using a small sedan. So anasema using a, so this one they are not now considering a guy who is using like a Range Rover, which its CC is like double. Range Rover or TX or V8 na V6. So approximately, so unatumia 11,000. So you need 11,000 kwenda huko. Larger vehicles wanasema 13,000. So interestingly, this cost is nearly the same as that of free. So dismissed. That project cannot be done. So as long as they want to work with 13 shillings per kilometer to make a tar. Let me give you a value. Because nimeona toll na mafuta ni kama ni the same. Can you do 20% of that? 20% of 13 is how much? So 1/5 times 13, that one is 2 point something. The only reasonable value there is 2 to 3 shillings. Toll value, 2 to 3 shillings per kilometer. Hello? So kama unanielewa? 2 to 3 shillings per kilometer. So I wanted to mujue ile pesa tutakuwa tunachangisha. Like ni magari ngapi zinatumia hiyo barabara ya Mombasa. That's what actually I was looking for. Wacha niwaangalilie how many vehicles, I don't want to use assumption. Nataka kuangalilia the number of vehicles. So who can approximate for us number of vehicles going to Mombasa, unajua ni vile nimeshtuka, to Mombasa from Nairobi daily. Approximately, good, do you hear? Approximately 50,000 vehicles. The number of vehicles going to Mombasa from Nairobi daily is approximately 50,000. Good, there is growth. So let's say so hiyo ni saa hii. Once you expand that road into a super highway, this traffic will do ×2. So kama wanatuambia magari zile zinaenda Mombasa ni 50,000 saa hii, zitafika 150. That's what Google is saying, 50,000. So to improve your gari, to improve your barabara, we will be having 150. So 150,000 vehicles going to Mombasa. I'm at 200,000 because the population will also have increased. So 200,000 going and 200,000 returning. So we are talking of 400,000 vehicles. So per day, nataka kuwapigia hesabu niwaoneshe hiyo pesa. Wanasema ni barabara ya 3.5 billion. That's around 500 billion Kenya shilling. the amount of time we need to recoup the investment, ili tuone kama ni kuibiwa tunaibiwa. So what you do is kuenda 200,000 vehicles na kurudi 200,000 vehicles. So we are talking of 400,000 vehicles. So nitaweka hapa 400,000 vehicles. Wacha niwapigishe hesabu. So 400,000 vehicles. Then hii gari kuenda ni 5,100. So multiply by 5,000. This one is per day. 5,100. So it means in one day, 1, 2, we are talking of 2 billion. Ndio nataka mjue hii. Don't know hii number. That's the number. In one day it is, so in one day we are correcting 2 billion. 2 billion. In one day we are correcting 2 billion as toll fee. One day we are collecting 2 billion. Magari zote zinaenda na zinarudi. Total. We are collecting 2 billion Kenya shillings. Hiyo barabara, na ujue magari zinaenda Mombasa daily. So 2 billion. So then from there, because tunaokota 2 billion per day, we have used 500 billion to build that road. So now divide 500 divided by 2. So it means 250. Hata tuseme mwaka. 250 days. So we need 250 days to recoup that money. Munataka kuniambia tunajenga barabara, we repay it in 1 year? Is that what the report is saying? Because ukipiga hii hesabu, the amount of, hata ukitoa the administration fee, ndio administration fee na vitu zingine, did they do calculation ya mwaka mmoja? This mathematics does not add up. I don't know, like maybe guys, you need to help me. Wewe ni barabara gani unataka kurepay in 1 year? We want hata kama ni toll fee, why not repay? Si hata afadhali hata hiyo kama ni loan unadidi. Why can't you come up with a repayment plan of 10 years? Because ni kama sasa, if we are doing 13 per kilometer, we want to repay it in 1 year. Which infrastructure project have they ever repaid in 1 year? At Mr. Njiro, remember Ruto is doing what he said was development. No, it's not about Laban. I'm not talking about that. What I'm trying to say, you can do development, but why is this mathematics not adding up? Unajua mimi nakufanyisha tu hesabu basic. Whatever I'm trying to do for you is very basic, ni hesabu very basic. If we are paying 13 per kilometer to repay ile 500 billion, we are doing, mimi najua nimewapigisha because hii hesabu nawapigisha hapa tunaitanga transport economics. Kama kuna transport economics, that is what they do. I'm so surprised that that project has a transport economist who cannot be able to decode. That's what we call transport economists. You can Google Bwana Raban, and so transport economics ndio anaangalianga the infrastructure, the cost proposed, the recouping. Now that all these things are tying up and they are in sync. So let me read. Laban is, unless you kunisikiliza, but we cannot allow that project continue with that dichotomy. We cannot allow. And I've told you that as an authority in that area. As an authority in that area. So forget about injustices. Whether there is injustice or not, we cannot do things at the corruption level and Kenyans losing money ili tujengewe barabara. Hiyo hatutakubali. So if a road has to be done, it has to be effective. We cannot be doing roads at exaggerated prices. Remember, at the end of the day, ni Wakenya, usifikiria ati hiyo kwenda, ujue pia fare ya Mombasa, kama unatumia basi, unaweza kuwa una gari, but hiyo pesa pia itawekwa kwa fare. You think kama unataka kwenda na basi utakuwa unalipa pesa ngapi kwa basi? Mashpoa. Mnazitaje, kuna mashpoa na zingine. You think you'll be, so utakuwa unalipa fare ya ngiri 5 ama ngiri 4. I don't know, wale wameenda Mombasa of late mnalipa pesa ngapi? I have just taken time to explain to you this. So, Rabban, when you are, I'm not trying to criticize something which is good. I'm trying to explain high-level corruption, which is explainable. Now, I have just taken time to unajua hata ukipewa your feasibility study, you will not understand what they are saying, but I have looked for you things which make sense na kupigia sababu. You know, when you are designing a road, what we look at is kuna kitu tunaitanga traffic volume. Bwana Rabban, those are the things which dictate. Traffic volume is the number of vehicles which will use that road per day. Then there is now like that toll value. Then kuna peak value na off-peak value. So all those things, we will put them into consideration. I'm just trying to say the proposal is erroneous. The proposal, unless why did they not tell us that Kenyans will repay that road in 1 year? It is a pain of 1 year, alafu hiyo story ingine tuache mutumie barabara. So let me hear what Guys Corner is saying. Jiromora, you are talking about petrol and diesel. Did you not see the first 250 or electric cars being showcased? Some of the companies came from Uganda. Yeah. I'm talking about, it is true. I'm talking about diesel cars in sawa, which is using fuel. But I'm trying to talk, hata hii gari ya stima lazima ilipie toll. I purely worked on the toll value. It doesn't make sense. Because hata huyu jamaa anatumia gari ya stima, which will actually cost him very few amount of money because you are just going charging, he will be paying a toll value of 5,100. This project is purely public theft of public money. Anyway, you have Ruto. No. We have to start now interrogating this project. So Bex, unataka tupige hesabu na nini? So for an electric car, you can consider only the toll value for an electric car. Na toll value ndio wamesema hapo 5,000. So nini toll value? Toll. So unaenda na ngiri 5 toll na unarudi na ngiri 5. So nimeconsider 5,000. So that's why I was saying we have like 400,000 vehicles in a day, to and fro total. Whether you are going to or fro, the toll value you are paying is 5,000. So that's why I said the income we are generating in a day. Let me do it again. Maybe kama uko na calculator Guys Corner, you can do. In a day, the income you are generating, you using only the toll value, which is, so nilisema ni 4,000 vehicles, 400,000 vehicles. So most of the time you can do a factor, because sometimes there are factors. So if you are using a flat value of 400,000 vehicles in a day, and you multiply with every car is paying 5,000, that's what I said, 5,000. That's what I said. Every day, 1, 2, 3, we are doing 2 billion. Guys, come on. That's what I said. Every day we are doing 2 billion on toll value. Tunaokota 2 billion. It's not rocket science. So even if you remove 10% of this amount of money as administration fee and other small things, because you cannot administrate this money, so that is 2 million. So I said we are in 1 day we are collecting 2 billion. In that, but remember, because this road is very expensive, you will not attract these 400,000 vehicles. Other things will happen. That is now the problem which we have. So even though I have worked with the 400,000 vehicles, if you charge 500,000 per journey, what it means is that 400,000 vehicles will not use this road. Something else will happen. So utapata hii peak value. The peak value will not arrive. So get that one from me. But I'm using an ideal case that let's assume there will be necessity to go to Mombasa. Actually, what will happen is that this somebody want to kill Mombasa. That is the intention. So if we implement this road, what it means, and there's no any other alternative, na pengine huwezi enda na ndege, because unajua pia ndege. That's why I'm trying to najaribu kukufungulia hii kitu muone the impact of this. This road will actually kill Mombasa. We are now saying we no longer need Mombasa. We no longer need Mombasa. I don't know if there is any, maybe people who are flying directly from Europe to Mombasa direct. But what we are just saying is that watu wa bara wasikaenda Mombasa. That is what this project is saying. Guys, so we are killing local tourism with this project. We are killing. So there is no, the way unasikianga kuna watu wanateremka kutoka bara wanaenda Mombasa, huko wanafurika kwa hizo beaches. So maybe Ruto needs to tell us that he doesn't want Kenyans to go to Mombasa. They need to be clear about that, because that's what I'm getting. There is always different toll fees according to the weight of the vehicle. No, but this one, the ones which they used, is for a saloon car. That's what they said in the report. I read the report here. So that one they said is for the saloon car. Actually, even for the lorries, I'm double sure it will even be higher, because sasa unajua sasa hiyo unafanya na weight. Guys, kuna hii ndio ile maneno nilifanya in my studies. I actually, my research was purely on these things. Hiyo vitu naambia total values na nini. It was pure on that. That was my research a long time ago. Let me show you, ili musione kama ni mushene nawaambia hapa. Nataka kuwaonesha what I did. Guys, kuna leo mimi, so even when I want to show you, and you'll even see the things which I've done. Nitakuonesha hii guys kona. So that when I'm doing this explanation, you can actually, this is what I did in my studies. So see exactly what you have said. So story ya magari na nini. Hii tu nitakuonesha tu ili I'll just show you. Wacha ifungue. Guys, kuna hii nitakuonesha tu. Ili I will just show you this. Wacha ifungue. Guys, kuna hii nitakuonesha. Guys, can you see this? This is my thesis, long time ago. Nataka kuwapeleka kwa hiyo University of Nairobi. Acha niwapeleke. Nataka kuwapeleka kwa hizo vitu za nataka kuwapeleka kwa hiyo maneno ya vehicles na nini na kadhalika. Okay, soma hii abstract hapa. Introduction. Not abstract. Iko wapi abstract? Abstract iko wapi? Is abstract there? Nimechukua tu online. Anyway. I just want to show you so anyway, what I was doing is I was comparing rigid roads and flexible pavement. Rigid roads ni zile zimetengenezwa na concrete, then flexible ni zile zimetengenezwa na lami. So taonesha kidogo traffic, ndio hii traffic road. Ndio hii vile uzito iko, kuna pahali na that one's concrete. There is something I want to show you here. But anyway, I will encourage somebody to go and just go and download this thesis, and you'll be able to understand that. Aya ndio hii hapa. Hii ni result. Unaona pavement condition. Unaona kama hii vile unaangalia vile barabara ina deteriorate. Ndio hii. Anyway, discussion. Ndio hii. So guys, can you see that discussion? Hii inaweza waambia hii ni discussion. This was one of the, wacha tu niwaoneshe tu kidogo alafu. So unaona kama hapa the pavement cracking index for Mbagathi Road has been estimated at 17.2% from 2005 to 2014. Considering cracks developing at the same rate, in the next 46 years, the road will have fully cracked. Practically, the design life is around 55 years. So we were able to determine like the maximum time you, ndio hii ukiangalia kama hii ni traffic count, kama sasa hii kama ni unahesabu magari, ndio hii every day. So that's why kuna zile factors unaweka depending kama ni mabasi ama ni nini. I just wanted to show you. So design hii sasa, guys, for what you are saying about standard axle. Sasa maaxle sasa nizo magari kubwa. So we were able even to determine the size of the vehicle which can actually crack our Kenyan roads. Ni vile like Kenya is not serious. They cannot use such of these resources. Tuliwakalkulatia mpaka vile hata anyway, but it's okay. Wacha ikae hivyo. Acha niwaoneshe. Acha nikuoneshe, wachana na sieve analysis. Nataka kukuonesha maybe I will show you with a paper is much better kuliko na hii. So this one was like a full study of how Kenyan roads anyway, hii hata vile anyway. Ndio hii. Unaona hii discussion hapa. So fracture energy. So guys, kuna sijui kama unaona hata najua hiyo ndio hii. Unaona hii? Acha tu unaona hii? Unaona kuna equation iko hapa hii. Unaona hii equation? Hii equation ni we developed this equation. Hii equation ndio ina kukalkulatia vile cracks zina develop kwa barabara. Ndio hiyo. And we were able to determine the total energy hizo marodi zina produce. Tukakalculate hapo. Na tukaona the maximum track 430. So saa zingine sababu unajua mapolisi wangali. So in any Kenyan road you cannot use beyond 430.4 kilonewton. That is the maximum road. Yeah, track. So we were able to determine that the maximum, na tukaconfirm hiyo na theory, tukaona ni ukweli. So lakini sasa mapolisi wa Kenya hata tukiwaambia we have, so that is why any track which is beyond 430 na hiyo kilo, because unajua ushampea kilonewton, it can convert to kilos if you want. So wewe unaenda unapima rodi pale kama iko beyond 430. So this is your ritual. So again, because una confirm na theory. So hii theory ni purely unatumia calculation. So guys, kuna this equation. So we actually did a lot in ile saa zingine. Hata naweza kuambia conclusion ndio hii. Ukiangalia conclusion, we were able to determine like even the cracks, zile cracks zina developing. Let me show you the most important thing. Ndio hii. Because heavily loaded pavement would experience more tear and wear due to increased tensile and compressive strength to the pavement. Experimentally, the safe road for Mbagathi Road. You know, Mbagathi Road is the reason why we used Mbagathi Road is because in Kenya hakuna barabara inaweza beba uzito mwingi kama Mbagathi Road. You know that because it is the only concrete road in Kenya. So if you use Mbagathi Road, you now have a maximum road. Hakuna, because that's a concrete. So tuliona ina determine 430 kilonewton. And the reason for cracks formation. So ndio hiyo. So guys, that's how it is. So I'm telling you as a person who can explain to you what it means to do roads. Yeah, so that was my research. Jiro, is it against code to build a highway passing a residential area? Number one, resident. This is what happens when you are doing a road in residential areas. If you are doing a road in residential areas, those are connector roads, feeder roads. We call them feeder roads. So you are connecting people with. No, guys, because I don't do hydrology engineering. That one I did it in work. My first work I was dealing with the dams, so that's why I happened to understand the dams. Yes, I was part of the technical team which did a dam called Karimenu and another one called Theta. So that's why I got involved. So it was my first job. So I was involved in Theta Dam. Theta Dam is somewhere called Mundoro in Gatundu. Every time unaenda unaona hiyo Bellmouth, you need to understand, you need to know the influence of Mr. Njiro Maura huko. Bellmouth. Bellmouth. We sized it. We call it sizing. Yeah, sawa guys kona. So hydrology, I not do it. So neither you do it as part of engineering, but you don't do so many things. But you know, we also use hydrology in roads, especially when you are sizing the drainages. So when we are doing trapezoidal drainages, the reason why we want to use a trapezoidal drainage than a rectangular drainage, because trapezoidal is smooth. Utaki kutumia rectangular, but niliona Thika Road waliamua kutumia rectangular channel because of lack of space, but we don't prefer rectangular channel. So, najua wale watu wamepitia hapo Thika Road, mumeona wametumia rectangular channels. Rectangular channels are not very good for moving water. You want to use a trapezoidal one, is the best, because the optimum channel inakuanga circular channel, but sasa unajua uwezi tengeneza circular channel. Circular channel is very difficult to do, so unataka unaifanyanga kama trapezium. Nilileta trapezium. Trapezium is the best channel, but niliona Kenya waliunda rectangular. No wonder we cannot be able to drain that water very well. I don't know again who recommended rectangular channels. Unajua sasa kuna vitu zingine very basic, I don't know. You know, but in nchi yetu what we do. So zingine kuna vitu zingine very basic. Yeah, very basic. I don't know why we end up like even I thought anyway. So guys, this Mombasa will have a problem. This Mombasa will have a problem. I will just from my look at that thing, I would just tell Kenyans, oppose it. Please just oppose it. Tafadhali, oppose it. It will not help. Back to politics, politicity. So guys, nimeamua tu to take time to explain to you that because thank you very much, guys. I appreciate. So those things are not too difficult to understand. It's basic. You know, we always want once you can understand engineering, you can now explain to a layman. So the engineer to that recommend no, because and they, even if it is an engineer who recommended that drainage, he was not put to task to explain the reason why are you preferring a rectangular drainage and it's not an optimal. You know, in life we use I know you understand the word optimal. You know, Kenya is a rainy country. Wakati kumenyesha mvua inanyeshanga vizuri. So why are you recommending a rectangular channel so instead of a trapezoidal channel? So if I was there, I could have asked that question. But I'm so surprised that no one in Kenya asked that question. It's basic. So that's why Sazingine, these people who do like in countries like in the US and even in China now, guys who do approvals, they are guys who have a lot of information. The guys who, but look at Kenya, the guys who are doing approvals in Kenya, Kera, hizo vitu mnaitanga Kenya, they are guys who do not know anything. Hata they are the ones who are even forcing the consultant to change some issues. Huh? Wao ndio wana force consultant, wanamwambia hii kitu fanya hivi, hii kitu fanya hivi, hatutaki hivi. You see, the reason why somebody will prefer a rectangular drainage, it is because you will save land. Rectangular, you don't need spaces, but it will not do proper evacuation. There's something we call water evacuation. It won't do because a rectangular drainage and leo nitakuandikia kitu. There are some, you know, when you are designing these roads, or this, let me talk of drainage. When you are designing these roads, there is something we call flow, Q. And leo mtaniruhusu tu niwaambie hii tu maneno pole pole. Q is the speed of water. Flow, we call it flow. And the flow is in meters cubed per second. Is a measure per second. Flow, how fast the water is moving, hiyo ndio tunaitanga flow. So this is what happens. Mtaro ikiingia maji, there is something we call scoring. Scoring ni ile story ya the water grinding because of the speed in which it is moving in that channel, that grinding. So what you want is you want to do the evacuation as quick as possible, because if the water is moving at a very high speed, you are reducing the time of stagnation, hiyo maji kukaa hapo, so you can easily evacuate, so utakuwa na stagnation of water. So that is one of the advantage you have when you consider a trapezoidal channel compared to rectangular. So the trapezoidal channel, the time of evacuation per meter, when you consider a meter, is much smaller. I know, and you are getting it. I'm trying to bring it to you very simple information. You don't want that water to ikae kwa mtaro, because hiyo maji ikikaa kwa mtaro, hiyo ndio itakuja sasa ianzie kuharibu, then it will not even be able to do desiltation, because utaki hata mchanga ikae hapo. That's why unakuta sasa hata mtaro ya rectangular every time lazima uko na shida huko ukitoa uchafu, because it encourages stagnation of water. So because maji haiweki ile speed. What you need is immediately there is rain, you want that water to travel very fast. So that's why we want, if there is rain now, within na hiyo mvua ishe, within a period of 3 hours, we don't want to be seeing still water moving in the channel. So we want that evacuation to happen very fast. And for that evacuation to happen very fast, you need a trapezoidal channel. So that I'm just trying to tell you, a trapezium is better than a rectangle. Why? Because the trapezium has a longer perimeter. You know that. Why? Because when you are dealing with a rectangle, you are dealing with a side, but you are just dealing with a side, but with a side which is 90 degrees. But when you are dealing with a trapezium, you are dealing with an hypotenuse. And a hypotenuse is much longer than this. Hypotenuse is longer. That's why tunasemanga 3, 4, 5. So you now want to get the advantage of an hypotenuse in a trapezium. So this hypotenuse will have more length for you. So it means you have more surface area in contact with water. So, and that's why you are able to evacuate more. So, and that is very serious engineering nimekuletea in basic language. So that's the reason why we prefer a trapezium than a rectangle. So I expect any serious engineer somewhere, you cannot leverage between land and evacuating water, because evacuation, that's the reason why even some of these drainages kill people. Ama unasikia watu walibebwa. So ani hiyo shaelewa, hiyo nishawaambia. Si niliwaambia lazima nawaletea tu information pole pole. So that's the reason. So it's so unfortunate that the people who approve some of these things, they just approve anything. It's so unfortunate. We cannot be approving anything, but unless you have very smart people who are very serious, mtu tu akiona, you can easily cut na hii kitu mbona umefanya hivi, na hii kitu mbona umefanya hivi. I expect by now ukiletewa tu design ya barabara, I expect hata tu ukifungua tu hivi You'll know this one is right, this one is okay. Yes, we can use this, we can use this. They're not very complicated. With experience, you can easily isolate. But sasa, how do you expect us to have good roads? And na kazi, all jobs in Kenya ni nepotism. Ni nepotism. Jamaa wa maapproval ya roads ni kazi ni ya Murkomen. Ama ni kazi ni ya nani? Anaitwa nani? Ni kazi ni ya nani? This is called Churchill. Ni kukuuliza na kuuliza. Let's say now kazi ni ya Churchill ndiye anakufanyia approval. Kazi ni ya Churchill is even going to think about that 13 shillings per kilometer. Naanzia kusema, by the way, this value does not make sense. Is he going to think about that? Hawezi? That is the problem. So they are very small things which somebody can capture if you love what you are doing. If you love what you are doing. So that is why we are losing a lot of money as a nation for allowing quacks. For allowing quacks. And you know that hata nikikuja hata nikiulizia kazi Kenya will have a lot of troubles. Utakuwa ukisikia mtu akisema this guy is not qualified. Because watakuwa wananiuliza, wewe umetumwa na nani? Nawaambia ni mimi nimejileta. Wewe you are not qualified wewe. Umetumwa na nani? Ni mimi nimejileta. Wewe you are not qualified. Wewe you are not qualified. We have equally struggled and see that we don't want to work in our country. We really want to work in our country, lakini every time unaambiwa you are not qualified. Hata sasa unaanzia kuuliza what do you mean? Yeah. Especially easy kazi. Anyway, private sector, yes, you can get a work. Private sector, especially where they need in the private sector is about profit. So when it comes to profit, they will want people who understand what they are doing. That one I agree, I understand. Where Francis enda usimamishe, wewe ndio una support Ruto sana. Can you go and tell him we cannot allow hiyo barabara ya Mombasa with the same terms which they are saying there? I have given an excerpt of what need to be done. We cannot allow that road to continue with that idea. Kenyans cannot pay 13 shillings per kilometer. I have given a value and I can support that one. In fact, I will just for the love of our nation, I will prove for you that the best toll value for you barabara is between 2 and 3 shillings on higher value. I will prove for you, Bona Francis, but we need to work on that. At least let's do if we have to use toll, it cannot go beyond 3 shillings. Although still 3 shillings is a lot of money. Because you can imagine you are going to Mombasa and you want somebody to pay 1,000. Hao watu wanajua after umeweka gari yako mafuta unakuanga ni kama umeisha. I don't know why people don't understand that una pesa. Huyu mtu anaenda Mombasa, anataka akifika Mtito Andei akule. Lazima utoroe na gari ukule. When we are traveling, ama watu wasimamaangi hapo Mtito Andei uonje kitu hapo, lazima uonje. So can you imagine umelipa toll fee, Mtito Andei umekula, umetumia mafuta. Can you see all the amount of money which, so it means kwenda Mombasa it will be a luxury. It's not a joke. Yeah. So Francis, please, it's not all the time we talk about politics. This is something you can rescue because all the time you always talk about Ruto and Ruto. Go and tell his team that they want to destroy Kenya by doing those things he is trying to do, by proposing a project which Kenyans will pay 13 shillings per kilometer. Hiyo project tutaipiga sana. In fact, hata mumeni encourage, I will be doing a paper on that. Like if that is what they want us to do. At Njiro Maura, can you not walk or hike? I don't understand what you mean, guys. Kona, you need to explain. I will actually do a paper on that, purely on that. So we have to start now, like making sense. Watu wako criticize vitu sasa, and you criticize things technically. Yes, of course. How can you do 13 kilometers per kilometer as a toll fee, and you say that we are a country full of professionals? Unless uniambie all the professionals who are foreseeing that project are all quacks. How do you hear that a project wanasema Kenyans will be paying 13 shillings per kilometer and you are there to still umekete tu hivyo? You are not able to use your brain even by an inch to say, hey, what do you mean? So sisi tumeamua sasa traveling wewe, in other words, ile kitu tunajaribu kusema ni ya kwamba people will be dying without going to Mombasa. Unazaliwa wewe, kwenyu ni Embu, kwenyu ni Meru, and you die. Unasikianga tu Mombasa na uwezi enda huko. You die without ever going to Mombasa. That is what this project means. Unazikwa ate sasa. Anyway, ni sawa. So wacha nione Francis ameingia aje. So guys, I really appreciated your point of inflection. Please, wale mja subscribe channel yetu, nitawaomba kwa heshima na taadhima, you can do it. I just decided to inject that information because sio kila saa tuna we also need to be putting information into its right perspective. So I needed to make people understand the reason why we are criticizing such a project. Yes, we have to criticize it. You 500 billion can do a very serious project in Kenya. We can actually do, for me, if I was asked, I would say Francis, forget about that. Unajua standard gauge railway ishajengwa, so we cannot save. It's already there. We cannot save that. But at least write a paper on the things where you can save. You know, if you write a paper about this Mombasa with the correct terms, with what is happening, that one we can save before we go and spend money the wrong way. We can save it. Sasa SGR tutaisave namna gani? Jiro Maura, is it the Chinese doing the tolls or the grassroots engineers? You see what happens is that Guys Corner, and I'm sorry to say this, Kenyan engineers have no capacity to do these things because some of these things, I understand, some of these things, they are a bit high tech. But the problem which we have done is after the project has been done, we have even left the investor to still be doing maintenance and all the other things. The concept should be simple. Allow the foreigner to do the project. But when it comes to, the country should train our engineers so that they can be able to maintain it. The problem which we are having is that even after the project has been done, the foreigner is the one who is still running the project. It does not make sense. They are supposed to hand over after construction. So pesa yokoto na Kenyans tunawalipa. But I don't know why we want to still even the foreigner to run the project for 20 years. No, they should immediately after the project is handed over, ipewe Kenya. So sisi ndio tunaokota pesa. Just like the way we do it, you do it like when you are taking a loan to build a project. Mimi naendanga bank nachukua do. Ama unaenda bank unachukua do. Unaenda unachukua milioni 5. Wewe unachukua milioni 5, unaenda unajenga kwako. Unajenga nyumba, whatever you want to do, bungalow. You want to do a bungalow, you want to do a kanyumba kamoja, one story. So after doing one story, it's upon my own nature to kukuanga nikideposit my monthly installment of the loan. Lakini bank ya miange kwangu kwa I hear there is that model whereby at the bank yokote pesa yake wakimaliza the handover. It's a very bad model. I don't like that model. The model should be simple. Nijenge munipe pesa niwalipe. At least that one is cost effective. So why is Kenya not willing to do that? Get money, hire those people, whoever you need to do, even if it is expatriate. You know, who makes... So that's why I'm telling you some of these agreements don't make sense. They don't make sense. And there's something which I can tell you, there's no any foreigner who will build your nation. Forget about that. They will be in your country to make profit. So if you think a foreigner will come to build your nation, forget about that. It is not China, it's not America who will build Kenya. We will need a patriotic Kenyan to come and sit down and say, this is what we need to do. somebody who is not interested in making profits and other things. Mtu tu ambaye a patriotic Kenyan who is well trained, he can actually tie all these things. Developing a country is not expensive and is not difficult. We just lack well-educated Kenyans who are patriotic. And they now be given those positions. That's what we lack. So nimewapea formula. We just need a guy who is properly trained, a guy who is properly educated, and he is willing to get satisfied with the salary which will be paid, na hataki pesa mingi, and he is ready to make sure that the project is being implemented properly. That is all what we lack. So we are not lacking money to invest, materials to invest. We just lack people with a kind heart, people to know that hii barabara tunajengea watoto wa watoto wetu. That's all what we lack. We are just lacking people with humility to understand that hii kitu tunajengea watoto wetu. And so on, like for me, for example, if I was to go and do those projects, I will not do the way these people are doing. I would actually be trembling. Even I don't think. I see some of the things these people are proposing, I tremble. But and we, for the love of our nation, we will make sure that this information goes to the grassroots. Yeah, tunaita engineering mitaani, whereby everybody will be able to understand how these things are working. We cannot be lying to Kenyans. So we have now to become those experts who will be helping our people to know that this thing is not correct, this thing is right. Yes, we have now to, just like the way we want lawyers to help us understand some things. Even some of us who have this information, we have to help our people to understand that hii kitu iko inasemekana hivyo, what is, because unajua, like if my father is being told that a feasibility study has been done, he doesn't understand it. Yeye tu anaona tu feasibility study sababu anaambiwa feasibility study. But we have to be getting some, and that's why they don't put these documents into public, because they know immediately they put these documents into public, we will scrutinize them and we will start poking holes in them. So Anne, it's so unfortunate that and the Guys Corner and all the people and Ryan Karaoke Kimani. Greetings to everyone. Not an engineer here, a humanities fellow, in particular next door, Hapo gathering, political science and social work. Now with the issue at hand. Ryan Karaoke. Okay, thank you, Karibu Zana, for telling us that you're in the humanities. Yeah, we are here to supplement each other. So that's why I was trying to explain about that. And so these things are not difficult. Doing a project is not difficult. That is why China has been able to develop within 50 years. That is why Dubai in 1986, it was a jungle. And within a span of 40 years or 39 years, they have now been able to fully develop their country. So you need half a century to fully develop a country. It's not that it is expensive. And that's why you are now seeing Dubai being able to do all those things, because they have been able to leverage the cost and innovation. The problem with Kenya is that we have been unable to leverage the cost and innovation. When we want to put innovation is becoming very expensive. Yet we are not even having what Dubai is having. I was in Dubai, nilikuwa naona hata wako na manyumba inakaa mayai. They have Burj Al Khalifa. Very serious highways. Mbona sisi hatuna, and yet we are investing? Why are we still having like funny roads? Even Thika Road is not the best you can do. It's only that wale watu wajaona mabarabara, you will be praising Thika Road. For me, I cannot praise Thika Road. Poleni sana, mutaniambia I'm unpatriotic. Kama for me, Thika Road is not a project, according to me. My scale for a project is bigger than that. It's bigger than that. So if you come here to me, you are praising Thika Road, you are praising SGR. Umenisikia nikisifu hizo? To me, those are garbage. Kuna kitu tumefanya? Ati you are busy ati unasifu SGR. What is that you are praising? Ati Thika Road unaisifu. In 2025 you are praising Thika Road. 2025. That's not a road. Hiyo ni kichorochoro. That's not a road. That is not a road. Thika Road is not a road. I'm sorry to say that it might hurt people. Thika Road, hata SGR is not a road. When we are talking of bullet trains, why not import that technology and do a bullet train in Kenya? We are at the era whereby people are doing underground transport. Huh? Okay. Okay, the problem of Thika Road is no, Francis is not about at a general. Let me tell you the problem of me of Thika. What I want is I want a project which is solving which within a span of 20 years it has still served its purpose. Thika Road immediately after we opened it to traffic ishaanzia kuja simply because okay, ni sawa. What I'm trying to say is that because Kenya tuko tumeona ma project kama hizo, but at the same cost or a little bit higher cost, we could have done something better than that, whereby we could have integrated technology at that. Because if we will have to improve Thika Road again within the next 20 or 30 years, we will have to spend the same money. That's the problem I have. So that is the problem I have. So that is why we need a creative president who is able to bring serious projects. Serious projects. Are you aware that there are some countries whereby trains share highways with vehicles? Electric trains share like you have like that Thika Road, na uko na train hapo katikati. Are you aware of that? You can do such a project. That is what we needed to have done. Now, if we want to put a train in Thika Road, because you cannot have, because it is the only biggest project we have in Kenya. If Thika Road, you cannot combine it with a train. It's not a serious project, and it is not that it was done in medieval time. We need a train hapo Thika Road katikati. Can you do it? You need a train. See ati nini? Thika Road hapo unahitaji. What we are supposed, we were supposed to do even number lanes, alafu sasa hii lane ya katikati hapa ni train inapitia hapo. Yes, train mpaka Thika. So what we were supposed to do is between Nairobi and Thika, hapo tulikuwa tunafaa kukuwa na train. Iko tu hapo tu kwa barabara. We were supposed to have a train hapo. Then hizo maneni zingine zote sasa ndizo zinaenda all the way. Na huko sasa Makutano na huko Nyeri. Sasa huko sasa we could be using road. Why? Because now that one could have ensured more evacuation time. No, so not more, less evacuation time, because to get to me a train between Nairobi and Thika, and train inabeba watu wengi, so you concentrate people in longer and more expensive tracks, then the other vehicles zinaenda tu, so atungekuwa na jam. So that is the problem of Thika Road, nimewambia. So between Nairobi and Thika we need a train within the same road. Si ati train ijengwa pahali ingine, hapana. Kunafaa kukuwa na train imepitia hapo kwa hiyo barabara. Try to propose that project. You will have to do a lot of demolition. It will be like doing a new project, but hiyo ni kitu integratiwa hapo. Wachaneni na hii Mugithi, hii matrain mnasemanga ati inatoka ati these old trains which sijui zinabeba watu zinaenda wapi. That train is dysfunctional for Nairobi. Is dysfunctional. We don't need such a train that sijui train sijui zinapitanga hivyo sijui don't know what. No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking of a train inakufikisha CBD. CBD I'm not talking of ati una train inakuangusha pale chini alafu sasa unaanzia. No. We need a train inakuangusha CBD. So Francis, Thika Road is a joke to me. So it's unfortunate, but from Nairobi 8 hours on, yeah, because so Apple I'm sorry, so I let me not continue these stories because kuna mtu ataambia kuniambia wewe you don't get satisfied. So if there was a need for a train, how come no one? Because there was no serious person. That's why it is not an integrated system. Francis, any serious transport economist should have seen that. That's what I'm telling you. It's not a creative system. It's not a creative system. Hata hiyo ya Mombasa, unajua ile ufala tuko nayo is that we want the train and the road disconnected from each other. We do not have interaction point. Hizo vitu zinafaa kukuwa na interaction point noma sana. We actually losing money. Tukitaka kudevelop Kenya tena, we will have to spend another money like the one we are spending. Because at the end of the day, I'm talking of 2025, airport, trains and roads are supposed to be homogeneous. They are supposed to be connected with each other. The train, the airport and the road, they are supposed to be like, if you are going to JKIA, you can choose more than one transport to use. I want to go to JKIA, naingizwa na train huko. I want to go to JKIA, naingizwa na taxi huko. So it is me now to choose between train and taxi what I want to use. Because transport is supposed to give you options. If transport does not give you options, it is not intelligent. It's not an intelligent transport. So there's no, so the problem of Kenya is that kuna mtu asha kupangia maisha yako. Wewe kama unataka kwenda JKIA ni basi ama ni gari. I'm not being given, for you to be able to develop the country, you need options. So nikiwa nyumbani, I am asking myself, should I use a train or a car? But usiniambia ati wewe tumia gari. That's why until 2025 we now have that. Don't restrict me to use vehicles. Kenyans need to be given options. So Francis unanifanya nikasirike because these are basics, So when I'm telling you Thika Road is not intelligent, I don't deny it was a big effort, but we had an opportunity of doing the best. That is not the best we could have done. So we will have to modernize Thika Road and we will go and take another loan. So sisi tutakaa na madeni throughout. Kila saa we want to modernize. The other day we wanted to do BRT, which was another useless thing. Sijui BRT, sijui mnakuja kutuambia, then you think that it will excite us. Alafu mnatengeneza tushedi tu ufala hapo. Anyway, that's why I'm just trying to explain what makes me weep for my country. Mimi saa zingine naangalianga tu vitu tu kwa nchi yangu. I cry. The level in which, the way we hate our people, we are subjecting our people to crowd. Even Africans deserve good life. For heaven's sake, Francis, even us Africans, we deserve good life. It's not that ati Muafrika lazima aende London to enjoy something good. Ati lazima Muafrika aende Toronto to enjoy something good. Ati lazima Muafrika aende New York to enjoy something good. Or you have to go to Berlin, Düsseldorf, Frankfurt. No. We have to stop hating Africans. Even Africans, they need to enjoy good stuff. Mtu wako Nairobi, and you have some, this idea that Mwafrika lazima kae in crowded areas, sijui nini, what, that is what is unfortunate. No. History ya kusema ati lazima ati Mwafrika tu lazima kae ati life ngumu. Ati lazima tu Mwafrika tu aachiliwe. Unajua tuko na tabia mbaya sana ati lazima tu lazima tu Mwafrika ati lazima tu Mwafrika tu akae ngumu, sijui nini kukuja. So
Africans have to be subjected to bad life. Ati Mwafrika si mtu wa soft life. Ati Mwafrika lazima ati vitu zake kama if you are planning a journey from here to Kisumu siku mzima. Who said lazima hata Mwafrika lazima maisha yake ikuwe mbaya? Ati Mwafrika tu lazima yani tu ukiamua tu kupanga tu safari ya kwenda Kisumu unaanza kufikiria toka jana. Mbona nisiingie kwa gari alafu nifike? So easy. Yeah, I will explain Lion, I will explain about that BRT. I will explain about BRT. I will explain about it. Don't worry about that. Nimeona. Poreni unajua Francis saa zingine tusiteteange inchi when these people are wanatudharau. No. We are also to start respecting our citizens. The only way in which we can respect our citizens is to give us the best. These citizens are paying taxes. So huwezi kuwa ukiwapea mavi na unawaambia that's what you deserve. No, but we are paying taxes so that we can get the best. No, bana. We have to stop this stupidity of subjecting Africans to crap. Ati Mwafrika lazima ateseke. Kama ni shule lazima uende macho mbaya, sijui nini, hakuna infrastructure, nyumba hazina roof, hakuna maintenance zinafanywa huko. You are in a Kenyan university, things are not working, matapa hazina maji. No bwana, we have to stop that stupidity. Things have to work. Yeah, things have to work. I don't like it. Ati lazima ile nyumba ya Ruto mnaita aje? Ile nyumba ya Ruto iko pale airport, mnaita aje? Nikumbusheni ile nyumba ya Ruto, kuna nyumba ya Ruto iko hapa, mnaitanga aje iko airport? I'm forgetting. Please nikumbusheni hiyo nyumba ya Ruto inaitwa aje? Nyumba ya Ruto inaitwa aje tafadhali? Weston Hotel. Weston Hotel matabu zinafanya job. Ukifungulia matabu za Weston Hotel, are those taps working? Utakuta hapo hata wameweka zile mabisi zinatoshana hivi kubwa, utaenda hapo utakuta it's one of the best place in this world. But are they doing the same for to the public utilities? Bwana tuache bwana. Hata Mwafrika heshimiwe bwana. This idea ati lazima ati public utilities lazima ikuwe ati ni macho hazijakuwa maintained, sijui ni nini. Bwana tunadharau Mwafrika sana bwana. No bwana. Angalia, go even in government infrastructure ukute yani nyumba hazijapakwa rangi, zinakaa tu hivyo, hopelessness, no maintenance, nothing. No, we cannot yani enda tu like hata shule things that na muzeme ati resources hakuna ati story ya resources, ni vile tumeamua kudharau Mwafrika. But anyway, it's okay. So let me explain the BRT. Kuna mtu ameniuliza story ya BRT. BRT is a very old system, by the way. The intention of BRT, it was meant to be a bus system. BRT is just allocating one lane for bus. You just allocate one lane for bus, mostly mid-row lanes. Alafu you have places where people are waiting, like waiting bays. So a BRT is just to nyumba to kungojea. You have waiting bays and flyovers to bring traffic and to remove traffic. So you just need BRT is you allocate one corridor for buses only, na hiyo basi itakuwa inasimama kwa those waiting bays as inaenda ikiokota moving forward. So the BRT, wacha nichukue charge. So BRT ni model ya train. But train could have worked more better because unajua train has so Lion, so your BLT ni model ya train, but the train could have served more better because sasa ni sawa ni mabasi zitakuwa zinapitia hapo, but remember ingekuwa ni train, the evacuation could have been more efficient and more people. So shida ya bus ni you need so many buses which you have to go stopping, and maybe you see if it was a train you even have time like panaitwaje Githurai inamwaga 13:08, KU inamwaga 12:01. Hivyo unaona you go having time. That's the beauty of a train. The train you can time ili sasa the next one pia ukuje. So but sasa bus is not very effective. We could have neither pin system walikuja kuintroduce baadaye. It was an overthought. So that's the reason why Bwana Ryan, that's why I don't appreciate BRT, because BRT was an overthought. I think kuna jamaa alienda akaiona pahali alafu sasa akasema wacha tuweke hii kitu hapa. It doesn't make sense. For me BRT doesn't make sense because we had an opportunity of doing a better system. Hapo tu katikati. Hapo. Mbona kama sio hivyo Thika Road, mbona wasiweke tu train kidogo za stima inapitia hapo katikati. There's a good system in Toronto. If you go in Toronto, most of the highways in Toronto kuna train inapitianga hapo katikati, and it is connected upward for electricity. Inapitia hapo train, and there are several trains zinakuanga tu zikizunguka like town service. So unakuta most of the time wale watu watumii train ni sasa wale watu wako na personal vehicles, private vehicles. So why not even use like that train? Could have been it. It's not a must that ikuwe a very long train. Unajua ndio ile kitu inasumbua, tu lazima ikuwe very strong train, very big train. Zinaweza kuwa kama easy connected trains, makumbi tatu. You can have like three, you know those trains. Kama kuna mtu ameenda Toronto, perfect system. Toronto is has that integrated system whereby wako na train katikati. Toronto has. Maybe I can show you with an image. Wacha nikuoneshe nani etwaji. Wacha tu nikuoneshe tu picha ya Toronto. Zinaitwa cable car. Yeah, inaitwa cable car. Why not zinaitwa cable cars. Let me see if I will be able to see images. Yeah. They are called cable cars. This is what you need to do. Wacha tu niwaoneshe. This one is much more better than your. I don't know if yes. Wacha nielongate. Let me. Sorry, I don't know why it's okay, so wacha niteremshe chini. I wanted you to see this. Is this one visible? This one we call it a cable car. So that's what we call. Unaona kuna train inapitia hapo katikati. So it's just a medium sized train. They are called a cable car. Wacha wetu ijue tu cable car. So kuna cable car inapitia hapo katikati ya barabara na iko kwa rail. Hiyo cable car iko kwa rail. Ukiangalia hapo, that's a rail. imekalia railing, but kando yake magari tu zinapitia tu hapo magari tu zinapitia tu hapo kando zinaenda. So na hizi magari zinapitia hapo kando, most of the time unakuta they are private cars, ama maybe watu wako na haraka sana, wale watu wataki kwenda wakigojea in those small stages. And now these cable cars zinakuwa managed na time. Yeah, trams, of course. So this is what you need. So this one could have been better. Yeah, in Canada they call them cable cars. In Canada they call it. That's what. So this one could have served better because you can time it. You can time it, and pale inapitia gari wezi pitia. No, sorry, pale inapitia pia gari inaweza pitia. So what happens is that kama hii cable car iko gari inaweza pitia hapo ikiendanga, and there's electricity pale juu. So this one could have been more better. So you want to tell me that there's no any Kenya? So you are not like, it's not rocket science. Unataka kuniambia hakuna jamaa wa serikali ameona vitu kama hizi? Because I'm double sure like places like in Canada or New York or even Chicago, they have been having like a such system like for the last 20 years. You want to tell me that these people they have not seen such? It's very simple to implement. It is the same road. Si ati ni kitu ngumu, Lion, si kitu ngumu. What you are doing within hiyo barabara ya Thika Road, let me use Thika. Hiyo barabara ya Thika Road umejenga, unaweka rail mbili which are at the surface of the road. Unaweka cable mbili, two rails which are flush with the road. Juu hatutaki gari ikikuja kuruka, gari inashindwa na kuruka. Juu tunataka hiyo rail, gari inaweza ikitaka kuturn, gari itakuja iruke. So you need na stima. So cabling, and then you do cabling. Tosha gari. Is that simple? Si ati ni kitu complicated. You just need a rail na cabling ya stima all through. Na then hizi makebo kazi hizi although nani anasema trams, we call them trams in my village. Yeah guys, they are called in Canada, they are called the cable cars. No. Si ukue sawa. So unajua guys, we cannot refuse to do these things because that watu watagongwa. Is upon wewe ujichunge. Yeah, of course. Unaona like hiyo the Nairobi Cosmopolitan, ndio walikuwa wanaita Nairobi Cosmopolitan. What was Nairobi Cosmopolitan? Nairobi Cosmopolitan was Machakos, akina Lukenya huko, Thika was also within Nairobi Cosmopolitan, Limuru na huko kote. All those places we should be having trams or these streetcars moving to and fro. This is something which has actually, because Nairobi has a population of 4 million. So there is enough traffic actually to fill these cars. 4 million people. Actually, Nairobi is more dense than Toronto when it comes to population. It's only that Toronto is faster. Toronto is bigger because of the amount of people, but Nairobi is much more populated. Toronto is 2.8 million people. 2.8 million people. Nairobi is more in terms of population, but development-wise, so no, vitu kama hizo nataka kuniambia watu akina Ruto when they are going to. No, these are very simple things to implement, Bwana Joseph. If you have somebody who knows what he is doing, these are very simple things. Anyway, wacha nitoe. So I don't know, have I answered you? I always like answering questions. That kind of asset on the street needs discipline on the roads. Then forget about that. There is an intelligent way of mitigating accidents. You don't worry about that. Accidents are mitigatable. You can mitigate. So musiseme atuhitaji hiyo kitu. In any case, how many people are dying in the roads wakati gari imeanguka alafu imeua watu 12? Which one is when we are talking of safety, which one is you have bad roads and a vehicle goes down and 14 people die, or we try this and you know, these are some of the, you realize that development also reduces accidents. You cannot reduce close to zero. You cannot reduce accidents close to zero, but go and compare like the amount of accidents which we do in our country and some of the places whereby people have integrated. You'll always realize that our accidents are more, extremely more. Because why? Sisi Nissan inaanguka saa zingine inaua watu 9. Those are too many people to die in one incident. There are too many people to die in one incident. 9 people have died. So those, but you see, Liz, the problem is that you cannot do these things with jokers. Yes, I'm trying to explain, but such things cannot be done by jokers. A joker cannot do this. These are not things to be done by Musangarire. Musangarire. Huh? You are in the rooftop daily and you want to do this. Where's no, you see, Francis. Francis, then why the nini? That guy from Vietnam, ilikuwa Vietnam, yule jamaa alikuwa anasema about like Vietnam has 100 megawatts, lakini sisi hatuna. So why are we not developing power now? Kenya, a country which has geothermal, what is it making us not have geothermal properly? What is making us story ya kudevelop stima ni sisi tumekataa. There are many ways in which we can actually amplify the electrical production in Kenya. So Francis, forget about saying Kenya has no power. 2 years is enough to make sure that we have enough power to fuel much of this. Then, if we are talking about we don't have power, why not concentrate with the power? We make sure we have produced enough power. Then we come and do all this other system. So, itu ni ma reasons tu tunasemanga. We can do power. And cheap for that matter. And power can only become cheap if it is surplus. It is in surplus. But they don't want us to have power so that they don't want us to develop. So there's no reason why Kenya doesn't have enough power. So Francis, on that one, there's no excuse. So I will not credit that one. So there's no excuse. No excuse at all. Please, no excuse that Kenya has no power. There's no excuse that Kenya. Do we even have sustainable is important before rolling, sir? No, forget about that. Why not put those ones in their manifestos? Which, how sustainable? So tukue tunafanya tu project kidogo kidogo, tukuje tubomoe. That is why we are losing a lot of money. Sahi tunafaa kuona hizi vitu sahi, sio kesho. Somebody should see this now. Tukifanya project in 50 years, tukifanya project in 50 years, tunafanya tukimalizia, sio ati kila saa ni tukitaka kufanya ingine ni kubomoa. So Francis, I don't agree on you on that one. That is the typical Kenyan expert talking. That's how they talk in offices. So no, we need this, we cannot do this because of this, and then we are very comfortable in the small things which we do. So ni sawa timi, kama story ni mabiashara za matatu na nini, then let's not talk of hizi vitu. Kama ni matatu ni sawa, tuendelee na matatu na tusionge. Ni sawa sisi tufanye matatu na tusionge, but that's what I'm telling you, the next Kenyan leader is not a joke. It's not a joke. We need a serious leader. It's not a joke. I wish you can know the stakes we have for the next Kenyan president. The stakes we have. Yani, the next leader of Kenya, what is awaiting him? He should even be crying where he is. Maybe Bona Francis, maybe you're not getting me. I'm telling you, the next Kenyan president has to be an extremely focused man. I wish I have tried to tell you, to show you this so that we can understand. Atutafuti tu kiongozi wa status quo peke yake. We just need somebody who is able to come and look at all these things which are pinning us down. It's so unfortunate. The next Kenyan president, we need a serious human being. I wish that Kenyan president can understand the stakes in it. It's not a joke. Si ati story ya matenda sijui nini kutafutia wa marafiki zake kazi. That is what has sunk us into the pit of Sahau. The next Kenyan president has a lot of work. There's value for money. Value for money, integrated system, putting us on the trajectory of competitiveness with other countries. Yeah. Kenya is one of the most developed places in Africa. Na hiyo ni kitu ya Nairobi is a very serious place. Tuache michezo bana. Tuache michezo. Na hizo vichorochoro zote. There are some places you cannot go at night and you can easily. No, we have to look at it in. The Kenyan leader just has a lot of issues to handle. So wacha niwaangalilie kidogo kama kuna jambo limebaki. Anyway, and that is what we. So your story ya Thika Road ama mabarabara. Leo Gakuya aliongea sana, so
I just want to first respond to my good friend Mutambo, and I just want to tell him that
somebody is calling.
politics, each member, each an individual has his own tactics of making what you call political inroads. And I can tell you just a simple example of my re-election for the various terms. Me, I never do such big gathering just to hook public to my way. And this is the way I does my campaign. And that's the route I believe is the best. And anybody, any other leader who have the desire to lead has his own mechanism. One, let me say, we should not judge Caroso in this page on the manner that the Star want to judge him. I would like to say Caroso is well placed. And if there is one man today I can say has stood firm, is Caroso Musyoka. Caroso is known as a watermelon, and most of the political rearrangement. Sometimes he leaves the team and walks alone, and sometimes you may think that he is with you, but you later find him on another vessel. But in this particular one, Caroso broadly has stand firm. He has been given carrots, invited by William Ruto to take carrots of becoming part of the broad-based government. And Caroso has stood firm. So if there is somebody I can give complimentary for now, is Caroso and the manner he has treated himself politically. It shows at the stage we are in, maybe he has learned enough. And it's high time Caroso now can be trusted. And it's high time we cannot judge him over his bush cover. And as much as the weight of Caroso in Eastern Kamba is concerned, I don't believe, as Mutambo wants to allude to us, it is not necessarily for Caroso to put in his on his vessel, Mudhama is already working with the government. And it is not fair to push him to get out of the government so that he can be seen working with you. Number two is that other fellow, old man he has talked about, Musila. Musila is a retired fellow. Allow Mutura to rest at home. And I think if Mutura feels that, in fact, he's walk out of Musila, he has to walk out of the political stage, let it be it. But there is so many other energetic Kamba leaders coming up and also current, who are in a very serious support with Kalonzo Musyoka. And therefore, Kalonzo is not walking alone. In the same podium that we were at Munyoro, Kalonzo was there, and he wasn't alone. He was there with a battalion of about elected leaders. And this tells you he is working with his team. So he's not walking alone. And as much as decisions will be made on who will carry the mantle of this particular movement, I am sure for the first time, Kalonzo will settle with whatever decision will be made. Because if he has grown enough and he has matured in this manner that he can now fit and build what you call a team together, then for a cause to see its way through, there has to be sacrifices. And let me tell you, it's not only Kalonzo who can sacrifice himself. Every other member of that particular movement can sacrifice. So let us not say when Kalonzo will not find the chance to lead the movement as the presidential candidate, that will become the end of the road. Let us not say that when Matiang'i will not see the flag bearer of the movement, that will become the end of the road. Every single member of that movement should come without any single-minded that this has to be my cake, and therefore if this cake is not going to be available, then I will walk away. I think the first instance is their conscience. Their conscience is to win the battle, and if that is that is their own dream, the destiny is not here. The destiny is when they win the battle. And therefore their togetherness is very important. And whoever the team will come with, it is important that these people agree that that is the best. And whatever methodology will be used to arrive to a candidate, it should remain their secret. Because let us also agree that we know William Ruto and how William he can also be able to mutilate them if they are not wise. Right. So they should play wise politics as they move on. I think all the questions that are around.
So you did the thing.
So that was Gakuya today, having some confidence with the Kalonzo Musyoka. He was claiming that Kalonzo anaitangwa Mushamba. No, not Mushamba. Sorry, I'm confused. Ukiniita Mushamba. Anyway. But it is true, mimi ni Mushamba. Mimi naishingi kwa mashamba. Kwa mashambani, mimi sijai kaa town. I agree. But I will start living in town soon. So mimi sijai ishi town. Ni sawa. So Gakuya is saying that Kalonzo anasema, do you believe huyu Mushamba asijue? Oh, ni mimi naniambia. I thought ni mimi naniita Mushamba. Ni sawa. Okay. So personally, I don't know who Gakuya is. Mimi unajua hata Gakuya nimemkuta tu after kusikia is being elevated to become the governor. Nasikianga ati ni mbunge huko. I need to know his qualifications. I believe Nairobi, they have never gotten it right when it comes to a governor. Waliweka Sakaja, another guy who is not serious. So anyway, so Gakuya is trying to say that Kalonzo will do all the necessary sacrifices which are needed to do as any other person who is in that conglomerate. So I don't know to what level is Kalonzo willing to give in. So up to that one I don't know. So me sijui Kalonzo atataka kufikisha wapi. So on that one I will need to be guided. But the reality is that
in Kenya we are now at a point. Anyway, it is true. I believe we are building. I was even following Kenyan Revolutionary when I was in a Brother Benson show, and the Kenyan Revolutionary was like saying, all these people. So I'm just trying to ask, he was not positive with all these people who are now forming this opposition coalition. Are we talking that kuna coalition ingine sasa ya watu wazuri inakuja sasa kutokezea ingine? So tutakuwa na coalition tatu. Tutakuwa na ya kina Ruto, tutakuwa na hii sasa ya Wamunyoro, na kuna ingine sasa hii ya watu wazuri. Is that what it means? Alafu sasa then hii coalition ya watu wazuri, as people are saying, ikuja sasa iswaru hii ya kina Wamunyoro. So mimi ni swali nataka, it's an advice I want people to tell me, to help me understand, like, are you expecting another formation other than the two formations which we have seen? Kuna group ingine itatokezea which will seem also to command a following. Ili sasa tuko na group tatu zinakinzana, then we now try to see how any of the two groups can work together. So is that what we mean? Because at the end of the day, we need to win elections. And for you to win the election, you need 50+1. And for you to get 50+1, the choices have to compress into a binary choice, for or against, like a debate. So, and development has to be universal. And the reason I am drawing to this conversation is that engineering offers solutions. Engineering 101. Okay, for instance, anasema trouble in paradise if it is not Karonzo. If the objective is to remove Ruto, I believe Karonzo will be able to do the needed sacrifice. We need to guide this thing with the scientific research. We need a very serious scientific research, and that's why these people they will need to contact a very reputable company, which can do. I'm not talking of questionnaires. We need a reputable company which can do research and tell us who among all these people is popular. Now I pay your data. So that is what they need. So they will need a company to help them understand who is popular. Now, then all of them they will have to come and because in Kenya we don't know primaries. If it was like it is Republicans who are looking for a candidate, we could say that kila mtu ataenda aombe kura, and then they will have caucuses, and then from those caucuses they start doing election, and then from there we see the candidate who will be able to get majority of the votes. Like in the Republican Party, you need 1290 votes out of, I don't know, 2,000 and what. Hiyo ndio inakuanga half the number. So now hapa hatuna primaries kama hizo whereby you need to get this number of delegates. So, but there can be a way of identifying the likable candidate. So it must be scientific. So Wamunyoro and the rest, you have to engage brains in this thing. So see atituni, even as you talk, you need brains to plan you effectively. And I hope they are not stupid. They know what is needed. Managing a campaign, managing a momentum, you need a lot of brains. So until professionalism is restored in Kenya, forget maendeleo. That is Joseph Baidas anasema. Sahi tuko na yardstick. We can think lower than what is happening. Timi anasema, do you think there is a Raila supporter who are disappointed with his choice to work with Ruto, and come to 27, they will not vote? Yes, I think they should be. The hope or the objective which Raila Odinga was having is that akiungana na Ruto, things will become better. So Raila can only get leverage if Ruto performs. So, but if Ruto does not perform, Raila Odinga will have to exit to save his face. So that's how it is. So Raila Odinga can only get leverage, can only get incentives if Ruto performs. So it's upon you to tell me, broad-based mukate, serikali ya Broadway, has it performed? If broad-based has not performed, Raila Odinga is untenable there. So you will have to look for ways. So Raila Odinga's survival and conviction to his own people depends with how that government will perform. I don't think the government has done so well so far. Thank you, as Joseph Baidas. Therefore, we must speak on basis of professionalism. There is a way things have been, and there is a way they should be. Correct. We have to look for ways of changing our nation. Okay. Yes, we have to look at how we can change our nations. Haiwezi kuwa ati tu we just accept status quo ama ati vitu tu. So Beidars, there is a long way to go when it comes to Raila Odinga, because Raila Odinga will still want to save his face. Let's be clear and categorical about that. So si ati vitu zitakuwa rahisi. Vitu hazitakuwa rahisi. Yes, I hope they will be able to. So Ruto is only okay if things are working. So Francis ananiambia at Maraga and Sifuna is also an alternative ticket. Let them present themselves, and then Kenyans will judge. Kenyans will judge. So guys, Manjiro Mora, what do you think about Gladys Wanga replacing Kindiki? It doesn't matter. Ruto disadvantages outdo advantages. Engineer must keep on speaking when social issues that transcend into the political are affecting his work on the pure science. Yeah, so we have to use every profession in our life. So, but when politics become too much painted, siasa inapaintiwa sana, it becomes a problem. Like tunasema sijui siasa. So Ryan, we can't. We have to be serious about what we want to happen in our nation. So there's a lot we can do. So we will still wait for another coalition to form, but Bwana Francis, be assured the opposition coalition, one will swallow the other. There cannot be two coalitions. Yes, hata akina Okiya Mutatu watatokezea na wengine, maybe if they still want to have their presidency, but circumstances will still force them to get that compromise to work together with the other one. That is the problem we have. So Lion, when it comes to that, itabidi tu tungoje. Is that okay? Sijui kama mumenielewa. Yeah, so that is what will happen. So tough. Tough. Yes, tough. Good. Kuna mtu ako na swali, na kama kuna mtu anataka kuingia kwa kipindi aingie kabla nifunge. Okay, Anne, I think I listened to his ex speech. Who? Yeah, nimetuma link hapo kama kuna mtu anataka kuingia. In the next 2 minutes I should be closing. Lakini kama mtataka nikuje, multi coalitions never so. Yeah, that's but can we be able to? Can people abandon Wamonyoro and go to that a serious coalition, which you are saying? That is the question. That's why I said, guys, we have a long way to go when it comes to homogenizing our politics. We are still not yet there. So, we are just looking for Panando for the painful solution, for the painful pain. That's the problem we have. So me think Murara referred to who Gakuya was defending. So I don't know where Murara will want to work from. I think Murara is now becoming more of a confusion agent. So I will wait for him to see who he is going to team up with. So is he going to be part of the Gen Z? Gen Z watakuja hii pande ingine ya kina Matiang'i. Those are the things we need to know. So we need to know who Morara. At the end of the day, we will have to think quickly on what we want. Yeah, so hapo itabidi tufikirie sana. On that we will need to think, what do we want? Yeah, so and we will still keep on exploring the best candidate. I'm not saying that we still have the best candidate, but it is work in progress. At least teams are forming, na watu wameona pia we can now be able to coalesce together and fight Ruto. Aya, sawa. So please nitawaomba kama uja subscribe channel yetu, you can subscribe us, you can thank us, you can join. There are so many things you can now do to our channel. Yeah, I appreciate for the moment I was here. Yes, nikipata time tena jioni, I can come, but I will not commit to that. So it was my honor to come to you. Occasionally, we will be trying to decode some of the things which are affecting our nation. So I appreciate for many of you who joined today, na wale watakuja kuona kipindi yetu baadaye, nashukuru. So let's meet tomorrow, same time, same place. And thank you for all those people who joined us tonight. Anne, Francis, Guys Corner, FM Wangi, Biamene. Nashukuru. Mutaniruhusu niende? Yeah, because I have to participate in other things. Thank you.